Welcome back, and today I'm going to make a sweet peach bread. And I have a family friend, actually two family friends that give us peaches every year. And so let me show you what I have going. Okay, so we already have cut up, here's the leftover seeds. We've already cut up a lot of peaches, and we've gone ahead and put them in the freezer. And so I'll probably make cobbler and pie. And if you've seen my other videos, you will know that I have a peach cobbler recipe and a peach pie recipe. And today we're going to go ahead and do the sweet peach bread. And look how luscious those look. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is just get the peaches ready. And we do have to take off the skin. So we're going to do that. I'm trying to take off as little skin as possible so that we have lots of peach. And if you hear thunder in the background, we are having a storm, so hopefully we don't lose power. Okay, I'm just going to take off the skin of a few, and then I'm going to grab a cutting board, and then we'll start getting them cut up. Hope everybody's having a good day. Now, if you see any imperfections, of course, you're going to want to remove those. And I don't know, I can't tell you the exact number of peaches I'm going to need. We're going for 2 cups of peaches. But I can't give you the exact number. Everybody's peaches are a different size. Sometimes you have to cut stuff away. But you can see, if you just can look at my hands, it's already, these are very, very juicy. So I'm going to grab a cutting board. I'm going to keep on doing this. Okay, so I got the skin off of 5 of them. We're just going to start with 5 and see how close we are. And as I said, if you have any imperfections, you want to take them off. Take off the imperfections. Now, these are freestone peaches. That means it's very easy to open them up like that. And I am going to mash these up somewhat, so I'm going to kind of just pre-cut them a little, just to kind of give it a head start. And as I said, I need 2 cups, so let's see how many of these peaches we actually are going to need. Oh, there's a little bit of skin. We don't want skin. Okay, so I'm going to keep on doing this, and I got my measuring cup right here. Okay, so according to my measuring cup, I have about 2 cups. And I have 9 peaches so far, and these are, I would consider small to medium size, but I do have to mush these up some. So once I mush them up with the potato masher, then I'm going to recheck for the measurement, because there could be error in between. Now, the key is you don't want to mush it up too much. It's kind of like when you do banana bread. You don't make it so smooth like baby food. You leave it a little bit chunky. So it's going to be the same situation here. So we're not, don't go put it in the blender and do it that way, because then that would just be too mushed up. So we want it kind of mushed up, chunky. That is what the goal is. So no huge pieces. Okay, so let's look where we're at. I'm going to actually move the camera up, so I can show you what I'm doing to check this. So I'm going ahead and I'm looking right here to see where I'm at with this. And if I push it down with this, let's see. All right, I think I'm a bit shy, so I think I'm going to do 1 to 2 more peaches. Okay, so I did 2 more peaches, so that's pretty close to 2 cups. So we're just going to call that good, because on certain areas it's a little bit higher, but that looks about right. All right, so now the next thing, I got to go rinse my hands off, but we did end up with a total of 10 medium to small peaches. So like I said, it could vary depending if you have to cut stuff away or whatever. So I'm going to get cleaned up and we'll go on to the next. So the next ingredient is pecans. So I need 2 cups of pecans, but I am going to mince them a bit. So let's measure out 2 cups of pecans. So that right there. I have some extra. Okay. I'm going to mince them up, and then I'm going to remeasure them just to make sure, like I said, airspace. So I have this nice little, I think it costs like $15 maybe. It could be cheaper than that. Inexpensive little mincer, which works wonderfully. And I don't want to over mince it, so it's just going to be a quick. I'll leave a few, like, no, there's a little bit of a piece. Okay. I'm going to leave it a little chunky, and I'm just going to stick this in this other bowl for the time being, just to make sure. And I'm going to keep on mincing this, and then I'm going to remeasure. Okay, so I did measure out 2 cups of pecans. Now it is important to have pecans in there, or some sort of a nut, because it is going to help absorb some of the moisture. So you probably could try it without, but I don't know what it would come out like. I've always only done it with the nuts. So if you can't eat nuts, you could try it and see how it comes out. Let me know in the comment section down below. First I'm going to do this, and I'm going to turn it around and do this. Go all the way around, get the flour everywhere. And then I'm going to take a silicone brush, which works really nice to get everything evenly distributed. A couple little spots. I must have missed the butter on, but the majority is done. Should be fine. And then just kind of brush this off. Excuse the dishes in the sink. I usually don't have dishes in the sink because they're in the dishwasher, but my dishwasher broke last night, so we had to order a new one, and so it won't get here for a week. Dry ingredients. We need 3½ cups of flour, and let me see if I can adjust the camera just a little bit. Okay, that's good. All right, so when measuring out flour, you need to level it off like this, and then I use the back of a butter knife. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and then 1/2 cup. And then the next thing we need is 4½ teaspoons of baking powder. Make sure you use baking powder. And I'm going to use the lid to level off the baking powder, because that needs to be leveled off also. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then my little 1/2 teaspoon. Oh, I just covered that up. Okay. So there is 4½ teaspoons of baking powder, and then we need a little bit of salt, which I forgot to bring over here. I will get it. Okay. Don't want to measure it over, because if it accidentally spilt, all the ingredients would be ruined. So a little bit of dash of the salt. And now we're going to put in lots of cinnamon, but I'm not going to do a measurement. I'm going to kind of do it on looks on my cinnamon. because I like a lot of cinnamon. So I'm just going to make sure that this is covered in cinnamon. And then I'm going to take a fork and I'm going to stir it around to make sure that there's a lot in there. I'm going to do a little bit more. So you can see. So a generous amount of cinnamon. Probably at least a teaspoon. All right, so now we're going to use an ingredient that I only use in certain things. Now this is the spice ground mace, okay? So this is a spice, it's a very strong smelling spice. So in all this, I'm only going to use a 1/4 teaspoon of it. I use this in pound cake too. I have not done a pound cake video yet, but I will do one in the future. So we're going to level this off because you don't want to just sprinkle it like I did the cinnamon because it's a very strong flavor. So 1/4 teaspoon of mace, and I'm going to show you the bottle one more time in case you're looking for it at the store. It's not really that hard to find, believe it or not, but it's not necessarily commonly used. All right, so there it is. Okay, so then I'm going to mix this up with my fork, and I'm going to do it pretty thoroughly, and of course it'll mix in the mixer too, but I just want to make sure that that spice really gets mixed in, and it smells very good. Okay, so let's set that aside, and let's get to our other ingredients. Let's do the eggs next. So we need 3 eggs. I'm looking for something to put these shells in. Oh, okay. I have a bag. Okay. One, 2, 3. Oh, I got a shell. I'm going to use the other shell to get this shell out, and that actually works quite well. All right, I'm going to go wash my hands. Okay, so now we're going to do 2 teaspoons of vanilla, pure vanilla extract. One, 2, and then I'm going to mix it up a bit. And then I'm going to set that aside. And now it's time for the sugar. So let's see, we need 1 1/3 cup sugar. Okay. So when measuring sugar, you also want to level it off. Raise the back of the spatula again. So that's 1 cup. And then I need to find my 1/3. And I have a 1/3 cup. Notice I just had that out of the frame so you can see. Okay, there we go. So 1 1/3 cup of sugar. Move this aside. And now it's time for the butter. So we need 2/3 cup butter. So if you notice on here, there is a line for 1/3 cup. So I'm going to take the 1/3 out of this stick and another 1/3 out of this stick to make my 2/3. So I'm just going to cut it here. And then I keep all my butter in one of these nice containers. So I'll just put the excess in here. So I have it. Okay. So I need to kind of make a mark. So I'm going to just kind of make an indentation so I know when I open this up where to cut. Okay, and then when I put it in here, I'm actually just going to kind of cut it up a little bit. So I didn't have a chance to get this too soft. So if I pre-cut it up, that'll be helpful. So I'll just do that in a minute. And then I'll set this aside. And then do the other one. Make a mark. Actually warm, so it's actually softening up more than anticipated, which is a good thing. Okay, so I'm just gonna, like I said, I'm just gonna kind of cut this up a little in here without cutting my bowl, and then that will help mix it. Okay, so it is time to start mixing everything up, but I want to go over all the ingredients because it's always a good idea to do that to make sure that nothing got forgotten. So I have my 3½ cups of flour. I have my 4½ teaspoons of baking powder, my dash of salt, my cinnamon to taste, and 1/4 teaspoon of mace, the spice. And then in here, I have my 2/3 cup butter, 1 1/3 cup sugar, and I have 3 eggs with 2 teaspoons of vanilla in there. I have 2 cups of peaches, which we removed the skin and mushed them up a bit, and 2 cups of chopped pecans. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick which beater I'm going to use. And I'm not going to use this one because this is for like whipped cream, light sauces, and meringue, egg whites, that sort of thing. And I don't need this aggressive dough hook like you would for regular bread. So I'm just going to use the type of mixing attachment that I would use if I was making a cake, this. And we're going to cream the butter and the sugar together first. Check it and see if it's sticking at all. Oh, it's not. That's great. Okay. Glad I cut up that butter because it sure did mix nicely. Okay, now I'm going to add my eggs and my vanilla. check it out and see how we're doing. I'm going to take my rubber spatula, just kind of scrape it around. And nothing seems to be sticking, so that's good. And now we're going to start adding the flour mixture. So you'll kind of see me scooping it in a little bit at a time. Start on a low speed and then I'll speed it up as I go along. Okay, let's scrape the sides. And it looks a little dry, which is a good thing because the peaches are very moist. So we don't want it too moist. So it's going to look dry because we have not yet added our peaches. So I'm just trying to make sure nothing's sticking. I'm going to mix it a little bit longer. Now we're going to add the peaches. I think I'm going to take this off to add the peaches. I'm going to pour some over here. And I'm going to pour some on the other side so that we don't end up with a big old clump. I'm going to take this rubber spatula and get the rest of it. That all mixed up. Okay, let's take a look. See how we're doing. It's looking good. Just scraping off the sides and down below here. This is looking like a very nice consistency. It's just the way it's supposed to be. And just kind of scraping my rubber spatula off on the beater. And we'll continue to mix it. I'm going to add my pecans though right now. Those mixed up as well. And this is already smelling very delicious. make sure we don't have anything sticking where it's not supposed to stick. Okay. Doesn't appear there's any on the bottom or on the sides. Okay, so my phone ran out of juice, and so now we're filming with my husband's camera. So what you didn't see is you didn't see me pouring the batter into the casserole dish and then sprinkling it with cinnamon and sugar, which I put in an old spice container. I can show you that. Of course, I put it away. Blunders today. Where did I put it? Okay, here it is. All right. So it's 50-50 cinnamon and sugar. All right. So let's go take a peek in the oven. All right. Let's see how it's coming along. It smells good. Okay. So I took it out of the oven, and the toothpick's coming out clean. And this, at 350 degrees, it took about 45 minutes, but I urge everybody to use their own judgment on their own oven, because we live at a higher elevation and sometimes it takes longer to cook stuff depending on your oven. It all varies. So what I did is I set a timer for 20 minutes and just saw how I was doing, and then another 10, and then until I got to 45, just to keep a close eye on it. Because sometimes it depends on the moisture level of the peaches as well. So we're just going to let this cool down, and then we'll do the taste test. All right, so it's time for the taste test. All right, my favorite part. But first I want to show you this texture. Look at that. Came out really good. All right. Grab a nice. That is so good. Very, very delicious. It's moist. You taste the peaches, and the pecans complement the peaches, and that mace really gives it a unique but delicious flavor. Very, very good. I think it would be really good with a cup of coffee in the morning or after dinner or in the middle of the day. It's quite delicious. I hope you enjoyed this video. For those of you who subscribe to my channel, I really appreciate it. And if you don't, I hope that you do. I have many videos to look at, some fun ones. I like to do dinners, desserts, side dishes. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you try this at home with some peaches. Thanks for watching.